This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, friends. We're continuing our Seder and Seif Shoneh Halachos. For now, we're moving on from Halachos Tzitzis. We're going to be learning Halachos Pesach a little bit. We're going to start with Siman Taf Ayin Beis, Dinei Haseba V'Dalet Koisais. Yehi Shulchanoi Aruch Mi Ba'id Yom. Your table should be set from before Pesach. Kedei she'efshar lehaschal seder teikaf. So you should be able to start right away. Now we're going to see there's a psychological reason, not just that you should start right away. In other words, nafkamina would be like this. Let's say your wife is Superwoman, and she could set the table in a millisecond or a nanosecond. Should she still set the table from before it's still day? It's not just that you should start the Seder immediately, but we're going to see you should be able to. Take off mishatachshach as soon as it gets dark. V'lo yishta, you should not delay. Should not delay, meaning sometimes people get home, people are there sitting around the table, they're reading all the magazines that it's a mitzvah to read on Shabbos and Yom Tif. Baruch Hashem, every week there are even more. And then after everybody reads all the important messages and Torah and Hashkafas Hachayim from these publications, then they start the meal. No, you should not do that on Pesach. Also in the shul, you need to be mezarez yourself to say Shema, to daven, and to come home immediately. What if I have a Seder Friday night after davening? No, even if you're in the middle of learning, Yakum, you should get up right away. Mitzvah, lezares, lasos, haseder, bishvil, hatinoikos, shelo yishanu. There's a mitzvah to be mezares to make the Seder. Why? Is it because of Zrizim Makdim and Lemitzvahs? No, it's not because of Zrizim Makdim and Lemitzvahs, because maybe you would say, Oisek b'mitzvah, pater min mitzvah. The reason is because the mitzvah is to make the Seder right away so the kids don't fall asleep. If the kid knows that he's going to get his knedel in the soup right away, he's going to stay up for the Seder. But if he thinks he has to hear daddies, tatis, zaydis, long convoluted gematrias on the Seder, the kid is out cold. The kid should know that the father is going to motor through this thing. The kid should think he's going to be eating his the crepe wrapped in the egg, or whatever your traditional Pesach foods are. The kid should think it's not going to be long until the meal. Otherwise, he's out cold. If he's going to think that the father's going to come home and the kid's going to take out his notebook this big and the father's going to bring out the big notebook, no, the Seder is not a time for remazim, gematrios, cute vertlach. The kid has to think this is happening quickly. Umamela yishalo. If he's not going to go to sleep, he's going to ask, Ma nishtana? V'yashav lahem. And you're going to answer, L'kayim, ma'ashakasa v'higadata l'bincha bayemahu.
But Shabbos, Friday night also, it should start, is this special?
Yeah, it's special, because you have a mitzvah d'oraisa of v'higadata l'bincha.
Setting up the table beforehand, right?
It's
also to do that.
Yes, Friday night there's also an inyan, but there's a bigger inyan when it comes to Leil Seder, because here we're dealing with the d'oraisa. Friday night you might also be dealing potentially if you have guests that are hungry. You don't want to delay. You want to do it right away. I believe the Chafetz Chaim would skip the Shalom Aleichem, because you're dealing with the potential d'oraisa if you have somebody at your table that's hungry of Bal Ta'acher. Anyway, you should not say Kiddush until after Tzeis. Okay, so as quick as you're going to be, you should not say Kiddush until after Tzeis. Now, if you're davening in Nusach Sfard Shul, you don't have a problem that you're going to say Nusach Kiddush before Tzeis, because they say Halal. And by the time you come home, it's pretty late. If you're davening in Nusach Ashkenaz Shul, and the rabbi doesn't speak for too long, you could come home before Tzeis. So you have to make sure that the proper timing is that when you get home, it should be tseis. Okay. V'loi ben hashmashos. You shouldn't say kiddush ben hashmashos. Why? The chol mitzvahs laila zu tzarch b'laila dafka. All the mitzvahs of Leil Seder have to be dafka in the night. Memela, the first kos of the daled kosos needs to be after tzeis hakachavim. You have to make sure. It could very easily be before tzeis hakachavim. You know, in many shuls, they'll daven mincha. The rabbi could speak for 12 minutes. Marv could be 20 minutes. You get home. Kadesh, and it's 40 minutes after Shkia, you're saying Kiddush before it says Kachavim. So you want to make sure that the Kiddush is after it says Kachavim. Fine, next. Umitzvah lechalek litinoikos kloyos ve'agoizim. It's a mitzvah to give out toasted grains and nuts. Why? Kedei sheyiru shinoi v'yishalu. So they ask about the difference, and they notice the difference, and they ask. Now, does that mean you should actually go to the field, harvest wheat, parch it in your oven, and give it out to your kids? I guarantee if you do that, they will be asking, what's going on? Is everything okay? But l'chayra, it's what's appropriate for the time. What we do? Give that before the Seder.
Before the Seder?
Yeah. At the Seder, before the Seder, throughout the Seder. I give out bazooka gum. Bazooka. They have kosher Pesach bazooka.
The joke?
But the joke? They don't get the joke anyway. Did you ever get one joke from those things? After eating hundreds of those, did you ever get one of them? So, Kedei Sheyirov Shinoi V'Yishalu. V'al Yidei Zeh Yisayru L'Asei Slave Al Kal HaShinuyim. Because once they see something unusual, and they ask, they're going to start paying attention to all the different discrepancies. Umin Hagei Laila Zeh, and the customs of this night. V'Yishalu She'elois. They're going to ask the questions that are delineated in the text of Manashtana. V'gam lo yishanu. They should also not go to sleep. V'tzarach lo'iram. You have to keep them up. You have to wake them up. Shelo yishanu ad achar avad aminu. They should not go to sleep until after avad aminu. Why? Sheyedu inyan Yitzias Mitzrayim. They should know the subject of Yitzias Mitzrayim. She'ikar ha-mitzvah hu hatshuva al she'ilas benoi. The main mitzvah is the answer to the question. Okay? So in other words, the main mitzvah of Yigadat Halabincha is that you should tell your kid Avad Amayinu L'Par Mitzrayim. V'loi k'may sha'oisen eza hamoin sha'achar amiras manashtanim menichim liladum leilech l'belisha. Not like a lot of people do. They let the kids go to sleep after Manashtana. That's not correct. Because they asked the question, but they didn't give the answer. Ve'enom yoidim shum tshuva al she'lasam. They don't know any answer to their question. Ve'efsher, it could be, deroi l'maher k'tzas k'dei sha'tinoikus lo yishanu. It could be that you should do things quickly so that the kids don't go to sleep. V'yiru gamkin achilas matzah. So it could be now the Mishnah Berurah has a very important suffix. The din that you have to keep the kids up, is it only for Avad Amayinu and then you can let the 4-year-old go to sleep? Or you should hurry up the whole Seder so they see achilas matzah b'haseba. V'hamarar. V'tiba b'charoises. Kedei sheyishu al kol zeh. They should ask on everything. V'tzarchian. It's not clear. It's likely that it's better to have the kids up even until after achilas matzah. If you read to them the Hebrew of the Haggadah and they don't speak Hebrew, then you're not mekayim the mitzvah. You have to translate. You have to explain to them in a language they understand. Some Sefer translated the whole Haggadah into Lashon Ashkenaz. So yeah, they have to understand the answer. If the family said the Haggadah and nothing was translated and nobody really understood what the answer is, so you don't get the mitzvah.
Which part just managed that? Like, what do you have to do for that in their language?
What do you have to translate to them? You have to translate the answer, Avodah Mayinu. You have to translate Ram Gamliel Haya Omer, the reasons for the mitzvahs. L'chaira, those are the most important parts that they should understand. That's what's ma'akev. The answer of Avodah Mayinu and the ta'amim for the mitzvahs. Let's say a woman needs to prepare the Seder. What are the parts, the minimum parts of the Haggadah that the woman should say? Also, Avodah Mayinu. Ram Gamliel Haya Omer. If I'm not mistaken, the Makos.
The women were not avodim.
The women were not avodim in Mitzrayim?
No.
But now they are. No. At the sit. But they still have a mitzvah of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim. They still have a mitzvah of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim. Okay. Seif Gimel. Yisader Shulchana Yafa B'Kelim Noim. Kefi Kaichai. You should arrange the table beautifully with beautiful kelim, as much as you can. In other words, if you have silver, you have nice pieces that you keep in a break front, now's the time to bring it out. Actually, I was once in a program on Pesach, and a guy came down to the Seder. He had a suitcase. I was wondering what's in his suitcase. He pulled out of his suitcase his silver, all his silver stuff, and he started putting it around the table. Okay, there's something to be said for that. You should organize your table in a beautiful way. Even though the rest of the year you should minimize this, because out of Zeicha L'Churban, B'Leil Pesach Mitzvah Laharbais, the night of the Seder, you should be as extravagant as possible. So, the night of Seder, if you're Hungarian, now's your opportunity to, let it shine. It should be even as glamorous as you can. Why? To show cheros. I mean, the reason to make it beautiful is to show freedom. It's a way of showing freedom. Va'amru al maharil shek shahayu biyadai mashganoi shel goyim. The maharil, when he had a mashgoin from a goyim, let's say he lent a Gentile money, and he had a mashgoin, and that were kelim noim, lo hayu mishtamish mem. He wouldn't use them. Why? B'shum pam. He wouldn't use them. He really wasn't supposed to. Rak bePesachim in Hagil lahasamaisam al shulchan miyuchad l'smayach b'riyasam. Just on Pesach, he would put it out to rejoice over looking at them. Okay, there's an union of derech cheros. So let's say you could rent. Let's say they have silver you could rent. Rent a nice candelabra. Rent I don't know what. China.
And then became what we did coming out of Mitzrayim.
Vayashilum. Borrowing from them. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Haseba. By the way, one of the Makores of Haseba is the pasuk in Beshalach. Vayasev Elokim. Hashem took us in a circuitous route. The lashon of Haseba. Vayasev Elokim. But we know that we lean on our left side. Anybody know why do we lean on our left side? Everybody knows. Shemayata. I mean, not Shemayata. Shema Yakdim Kana Leveshet. Right? If you lean on your right side, so the windpipe, which is on the left, will be higher up, and then the food might go down the wrong pipe. So as a precaution, we lean on our left side. By the way, that's not the first reason given why we lean on our left side. What's the first reason the poskim say? Because most people are righties. So if you're going to lean on your right side, you won't be able to drink. It's not shaykh. It's very hard to drink on your right side with your right hand. So since most people are righties, we lean on the left side and drink with the right hand. So then the shaila would be, any lefties here? What if you're a lefty? What's more important? So if you're a lefty, if I'm going to drink I can't drink on my left hand. The thing is, but also you also want to survive, right? You also want to survive. So what's more important, not spilling or breathing? Doctor, what do you say?
I don't think it's such an Indian anyways.
Of to lean?
Yeah. No, not to lean.
Of choking?
Yeah.
You're not concerned?
I don't think it's I don't know. I mean, I'm not taking a survey or, but I don't think it's such a big Indian.
What's the share of leaning?
What degree? How many degrees? Okay, so the shaila, big shaila is what about a lefty? Let's see the Halachos. V'chavein makoim. Now here's another thing. Many people go like this, and it's not correct. Because what are they? You have to lean on something. Not enough to lean. You have to lean on something. You're showing derech cheros. Nobody who's uncomfortable. Let me make myself comfortable by suspending myself in mid-air in an uncomfortable position. Yeah, you're supposed to be somebody who's trying to be comfortable. He's leaning on something. So you should designate the place where you're sitting to be able to sit leaning. Roishai mutai letzad small. Your head leaning to the left. Al hamita, either on a bed, or on a bench. V'karim tachas roishai, with pillows under your head. Eitzal hashulchan, by the table. Derech cheros. So you want to get some pillows going under your head and leaning on something, whether it's a table or a bench or something, or the chair next to you. Even a poor person doesn't have pillows. Yasev ala safsal l'tzad smali, he should lean on a bench to his left. V'mein loy safsal, if he doesn't have a bench, v'yoshev ala karka, he's sitting on the floor. Uchamay ba'aratzes hamizrach, like in the Oriental countries. Gam kein tzarich lahasev outside smile. He also has to lean on the left. If you're leaning on your friend's knees, that works. Al piat chak. With difficulty. Don't lean on your own knees. It looks like you're worried about something. If you're going like that, it looks like you're depressed. Looks like you need some therapy. So it's better to lean on something. Now, don't lean on your back. Don't lean on forward. Okay, 2 reasons. One is because most people are righties and you won't be able to drink. The other reason is you might choke. What about a lefty? Even a lefty should lean on his left side. And the question is, but what should he hold the cup with? His right hand. He should hold the cup with his right hand. I wonder, what hand should he hold the cup when he makes kiddush, though? When a lefty makes kiddush, he holds it in what hand? The left hand, l'chayra. I don't remember that. But does he switch? It sounds like he's going to switch, because otherwise he can't. So he makes the kiddush in his left hand, and he does a switcheroo. Yeah, he'll switch his hands. Now, what if a lefty leaned on his right side? However, according to the Pri Chadash, it's not so clear. Now, this is an amazing shaila the Bir Halacha has. What if somebody is amputated on his right hand? Now what? The only reason a lefty is able to lean to the left is because on that time he could put the cup in his right hand, but this guy doesn't have a right hand. So what does someone who doesn't have a right hand do? Umishu gidem biyad yaminoi. Someone who is amputated on his right hand, or sheish le mum biyada imanus, so he has a cast or a mum on his right hand. She'iev shaloi lechaba, he can't eat with it. Tzarich iyon eich yasa. It's a question. What should he do? The efshir de'ein chayiv klal behaseba. Could be he doesn't have to lean. V'tzarich iyon. Now this is what I really wanted to get up to. Does a woman do haseba? Isha ein sar chaseba. A woman doesn't have to lean. Ela imkein hi chashuva. Unless she's chashuv. V'chol hanashim shalanu. All of our women, mikri chashuvais. Ach loy nohagu lahasev. but their minhag is not to lean. Ki samchu al das Ravya. They rely on the opinion of the Ravya. The bisman hazeh she'ein regilas ba'artzeinu b'shayim eseshan. Then nowadays nobody leans ever, so the Ravya b'chlal holds you don't have to lean ever. So we men, we don't rely on the Ravya. But for women, they rely on the Ravya. Elayoshun kedarkan, they sit regularly, ein sarach lahasev, and they don't have to lean.
Lefty was also part, David is not whole nights about Shoneh. The children,
So you want to know, do we lean because of Shinoi? It sounds like that's not one of the Shinuyim. But here I want to ask you a little trivia. Okay, this was a trivia question Reb Chaim Kanievsky would ask. The Mechaber says that our women, the Ramah says that our women are all chashav. When in history did women become chashav?
Here?
Like, there was one day that women were not chashav, and the next day they became chashav. When did ladies in halacha become chashav? Esther Hamalka. Do you remember this? When did ladies become chashav?
He didn't participate in
When they started going to Beis Yaakov.
By the Beis Yaakov movement. When Sarah Schneer opened up the first Beis Yaakov.
When a man is required to give him a get.
Okay, now you're barking up, right? Okay. When Rabbeinu Gershon came along and he said, you can't marry a second wife, they become chashav.
But that expired.
But it was reinstated. It's still, it's still in full force. You tell, yeah. That Reb Chaim Kanievsky said, when you couldn't divorce against their will, they became chashav. Rabbeinu Gershon made women chashav. Yeah, weiter. What about a son in his father's presence? Ben Eitzel Aviv. Tzarach haseba. A son by the father has to do haseba. Afilu hu Rabbi Muvak. Even if the father is also his primary Rebbe. Why? Distam av moichel levnai. Even though it's not covered to lean in the presence of your father. But we could assume the father is moichel. Aval talmud Eitzel Rabbi. Afilu einoi Rabbi Muvak. A student by a Rebbe, even if it's not his primary Rebbe, v'chein Talmud Chacham muflag b'doirei, or if you have an exceptional Talmud Chacham, afal pi shaloi lamad mimenu klum, even though you didn't learn anything from him. If you're by Reb Chaim Kanievsky Seder, chashav karabai in sarach haseba, you don't have to do a seba. And not only do you not have to, it is prohibited to do a seba. V'gam asr lahasav. Why? Demoira rabcha kemoira shamayim. The fear of your Rebbe should be like the fear of heaven. Elam Kain Hersheo Rabbi Befeirosh. Unless the Rebbe gave explicit permission not to have to do Haseba, to be able to do Haseba, and once he gives you explicit permission, then you'd be chayv to do Haseba, Vafilu Barabai Muvak, even if it's your primary Rebbe.
Why the lashon of Ein Sarach V'gam Asr? Just say it's Asr.
Just say it's Asr.
Stronger lashon.
Well, it sounds like there are two steps, right? A student by the Rebbe, you're pater. Because l'char you have a chiyuv too. So the first thing is, you don't have a chiyuv too. Oh, okay. What? I mean, how could the rabbi give you permission? Rav Shamachal al Kvoidai. It's a machlokes in Kedushin, whether Kvoidai Machal or Ein Kvoidai Machal. Melech Shamachal al Kvoidai, Ein Kvoidai Machal. Rabbi Shamachal al Kvoidai, we paskin apparently, Kvoidai Machal. Now, here's the thing. Why did he have to say, Rabasi is asking, you don't have to do a seba, just say it's Asr. Question. Should a person refrain from going to his Rebbe on Pesach? Maybe you shouldn't go, because since it's Asr to say, well, I can't do my mitzvah.
Is there a mitzvah to visit your Rebbe?
It's a long Yom Tov. It's a long Yom Tov.
Well, but maybe not visiting at night, visiting by day.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a mitzvah at night, but maybe you shouldn't do it because this way you're going to lose out on Haseba. So he says you don't have to do. You don't have to. And also, it's Asr. What about your waiter? Raise your hand if you have an Eved Kanani. You're laughing. If you have, or a shamish, a Jewish shamish, hashamish tzarcha seba, va'afilu lifnei adoni, even before his master, al kapanim bekazayis matzah, at least for kazayis matzah, v'kazayis afikoimen, v'dalad koisais. Or let's say you have an apprentice. What?
Who's first?
Well, who
goes first? Probably the way they would go. Right? Because it's the same way they come tonight.
What's the order? I mean, who should be fed?
Yeah, because don't you have to feed your workers first?
I'm not sure. We don't have instructions here. So if you have a Jewish shamish, he still has to do haseba. Or v'chein payal sheyesh lo talmid lalamda umnas. Let's say you're teaching someone a trait. V'chein avodim ivrim chayavim behaseba. Ula inyan eved kanani. That's what I was asking. If anyone has an eved kanani, ayin ba'achroinim whether eved kanani, because the eved kanani is like an isha. But I don't think anybody would say an eved kanani is chashav. Okay. Avel toch yud beis chodesh alav imay ay toch shloshim al shar kroivim. An avel within 12 months of father, mother, or 30 days for a different relative, could go in shalei noag shiva lefnei haregal. Say, see, the question is, how could somebody be within shloshim for other kroivim if the yomtiv is basically mevatel the shloshim? If they were not noyeg shiva before the regal, af shehu chayv haseba, even though they're chayv in haseba, kiven she'avar alav sha'achas lefnei haregal. Why are they chayv in haseba? Because it already started. The avelus already began momentarily before the regal. Mikamakam hanochin shlo yisv alamita kevuda ukalula. He should not have a honorable bed. In other words, you shouldn't have a bed bedecked with jewels and rubies and diamonds and emeralds. A very with a pin cushion. By the way, this is mashma that when it comes to our haseba, don't take some smelly pillow out of the linen closet, that you use when your third cousin that you don't like comes. You give it to them. You should have a nice chush of a pillow. That's why they have, keter makes. You ever see what they have? They have, royal pillows. This halacha is brought to you by Royal Linen. It sounds like it should be daracheros. So Eloyasa b'shinu ktsas. An avel should make some differentiation in his practice. Dahainu al mita v'karecha tachzim rashasov. Maybe one pillow. Oyal berka chavero, lean on his friend's knees. What about a kittel? V'kittel nagu shaloi lobash. The minhag is an avel doesn't wear a kittel. Umikal makam haloivesh ein moichin b'yadai. Someone who wears a kittel, who's an avel, we will not protest. Do Sfardim wear a kittel? No. Our kittel is levush minhag Ashkenaz. Yud l'chadchila yasef b'chol hasuda. Oh, this is a peladik halacha. You're supposed to lean for the whole meal. You ever see that? Al pidin, you have to lean the whole meal. The soup, first the fish, do they have eggs? Who has eggs? Hard-boiled eggs. You have hard-boiled eggs? Really?
I thought it's only for what?
I didn't. But my in-laws do it, so I think we adopted it. What?
Because of
to eat. I'm not saying on the table. To eat it. You eat it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm just... No problem. What? Yeah. That's why we have it. To eat it? Okay, I'm just checking. You all do it? Hard-boiled eggs.
My wife's son came to custom.
Okay, same here. Fine. So...
so that they're only leaning for dark choices.
So it's a good thing you came.
I happen not to be comfortable doing this.
I'm not either.
I happen not.
Listen.
But that's it. But when
Lechatchila Yosef b'chol hasuda. Lechatchila you should lean for the whole meal. Ba'achilasai when you eat. Uv'shtiyasai uv'diyeved yatsa b'shas achilas kazayis matzah. B'diyeved you're yotze if you eat a kazayis matzah and a kazayis afikomen v'da'ad koisos. Don't forget to lean for the afikomen. At that time, you do not want to be eating another kazayas.
Abenezer.
V'hashamish kivan shu tarod. A shamish, since he's busy, daininan like b'diavad, we treat him like b'diavad, and he doesn't have to lean for the whole meal. But everybody else, should lean the whole meal. So this is I think, an unpracticed halacha. Should it be practiced? L'chayra, you should try to eat for the whole meal. Why don't we do it? Again, we saw there is a shita of the Ravya. The Ravya says, B'zman hazeh, b'chlal, you don't have to lean. Would the Ravya apply to our meals? That it's enough that we're machmir to lean for daled koisais and achilas matzah and the afikomen. Now you want me to lean for the meal? I don't even enjoy it. I can't enjoy the meal.
It's difficult. Like eating the soup, but this is.
What are the, but
Again, that's how they used to eat, so it was considered comfort.
are you know them to stand for kiddush, right?
There are? Not on Yom Tov. Rabbi Moshe says that even those who stand for Kiddush, only Shabbos, not Yom Tov. That the Arizal never allowed standing for Kiddush on. But I know most people do.
Is it a have like do you drink with like it's a
No, you have to sit down.
You gotta sit down.
No, you can't drink standing for sure.
Right, but
You for sure have to sit and lean.
It's a whole do.
Right. That's why we sit.
Yeah, but you're sitting, if you're around people that are very like, you can't mess around with that.
I got it. So, you have to sit. In other words, you can't like take the sip. No, you have to make sure you're seated. You have your bedecked, jeweled pillow. You're leaning on something. You're not leaning in midair. I'm surprised they didn't make like a thing like to lean on, like a special a couch leaner. Okay, one more, yeah. What do you do if you ate and you didn't do a seba? I mean, it happens every Seder by one or by many things. People, I forgot to lean. Kol mi shetzarach haseba. Anyone who has to lean, va'achal kazayis matzah b'loy haseba, tzarach lachzor v'lechal kazayis matzah b'loy bracha. You have to do it again. Now, we're machmer, we eat 2 kazesim of matzah. Right? We eat 2 kazesim. If you forgot to lean, do you have to eat another 2 kazesim? No, that's only a din d'Rabbanan. Right? Why do we eat 2 kazesim? Because on Dairaisas we're machmer that the shiurim shrunk. But now that you're repeating it, it's a d'Rabbanan, you only have to do 1. Okay? So miu after chachila mitzvah lecha bez zeisim matzah behaseba till kaman sim tavayin hesiv dim bez b'diyave yazu gazayis echad. And therefore, v'imloi hesiv klal. What if you forgot to lean? You forgot there's a halach of leaning. V'gamar kol hasuda ubirech berch samazayin v'achar kach nizkar shlo haya behaseba tzarich lachzor levarich hamoitzi v'lechol. So you can make another bracha, but you're not going to make a bracha of al achilas matzah, because again, there was a shita of the Ravya that you were yotzei the first time. Avaloi brachas al achilas matzah v'afi koiman imshachach lach lebaseba. By afi koiman, if you forgot to lean, lo yachsav yechlenu. Why? Because if I was yotzei the first time, I'm not allowed to eat after the afi koiman. Then the ha'asor lecha beis pa'amim avgam v'yitzach b'diavad al das Ravya hanau b'din vav. So the Ravya will only help if you forgot to eat the afikomen behaseba. Why? Well, let's say like this. I ate 2 kazesim of matzah and I forgot to lean. You're telling me I have to eat again? I'm so full. Too bad. What do you mean? But I want to rely on the Ravya. That you don't have to haseba. No. The Ravya doesn't apply here. You can't just pull out the Ravya whenever you want. You can't just say, well, I didn't lean, so I'm going to rely on the Ravya. You can't rely on the Ravya if you didn't eat the matzah b'haseba. But if I ate the afikoman without haseba, where by eating again it might be an isser, then you could rely on the Ravya. So this that women rely on the Ravya, it's not so pashut, you could just rely on the Ravya. So just to say, well, by my meal, I'm not going to lean, because I'm going to rely on the Ravya for the meal, it's not pashut, you could rely on the Ravya. The guy last Thursday night, he went out to all you could. The guy ate 2 cows, and now he had 1 little crepe with a little piece of fish Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the circumstance. Okay, Rabbi, say have a great day.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.